Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dwayne's Inc. Wrestling Conference. I'm Dwayne. And before I begin, I always like to say thank you for watching. Always like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, let you know when a new Dwayne's Inc. Wrestling Conference drop. Please give me a thumbs up. It helps out the video. Comment below. I do engage in the comments. I do answer them. That helps too. Let's get right into it. I just finished watching Monday Night Raw on Netflix, and every time I always watch, I always have to give a rating between 1 to 10. And this week, I give it a solid 7. The show was okay. I enjoyed a few aspects of the show. They did announce a few new matches to WrestleMania. Some of them is exciting, some of them is just eh. But overall, let's get right into the show. So Monday Night Raw was in Minneapolis tonight. The crowd, like I said, I've been spoiled from the UK crowd that they've been like hot, just cheering, chanting, and stuff like that. Now that we're back in the US, it's kind of like it's kind of like really, really, really dull in a sense of a way. Like, I don't know. They opened the show with Adam Pearce with the women's world heavyweight championship in the ring. Basically, he said that he's basically going to do a signing for the world title, and he basically called out Io Sky and called out Bianca Belair and called out Rhea Ripley. So this whole segment with them, I still don't like the fact that it's another triple threat. Like, this whole WrestleMania has been a whole bunch of triple threats and fatal four ways, triple threats, fatal four. Like, it's I don't know. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know, for some reason. I don't know. It just still don't give me that WrestleMania feel. Maybe when WrestleMania comes up, maybe I'll probably get that WrestleMania feel. But right now, just like, I'm not enjoying this road to WrestleMania. But like I said, they opened the show with all three women that will be participating into the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania. I do have some stuff written down about it. So Pierce said that he was wrong to put Belair in the position to be a referee last week. Pierce announced that Sky will defend the Women's World Championship against Belair and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Ripley looked at pleased why Sky did not. Pierce said he needed a signature on the contract. Belair said she would have been pissed off a couple of weeks ago because she earned the title shot. Belair said now she's happy that Rhea is in the match because Rhea is actually thinks she's afraid of her. She spoke about what happened with Jade Cargill and Naomi, and then she said she will go through Rhea Ripley to win a championship. Belair signed the contract. I actually kind of liked that little segment between Belair and Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley was about to say something and she was like, girl, and threw the contract right in her face. That was funny. I don't know. Are we getting a heel, like a heelish Bianca? But for some reason, the crowd in Minneapolis was just booing Bianca. Like, she's not the. It's weird because she's not the problem, because she won fair and square at Elimination Chamber. Io Sky beat Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Shouldn't it kind of be booing Rhea Ripley in a sense of a way, because she lost the title, and plus she's not supposed to be in the WrestleMania? Well, anyway, Rhea Ripley tried to speak, but Bianca cut her off instead, and then she signed the contract. Ripley signed it and then tossed the contract photo at Belair, who called it. Belair Ripley bickered. Sky tried to intervene, but Rhea Ripley face-pied her. Sky teased leaving, but she ended up hitting Rhea Ripley with a springboard missile dropkick and sent Rhea Ripley into Bianca Belair. Sky signed the contract and then grabbed her title and made her entry out the ring. I just like like I like all three women. I like all three women in this match. I just don't like how the way we came to this triple threat match. I don't like that part. But is the match going to be a banger? Of course. Uh, it's just that I've noticed that every time they did like these segments between all three of them, it's always like Rhea Ripley and Bianca like going head to head, face to face, always talking. And then every time little Io Sky tried to come in, they always face pie her, push her out the way, shove her out the way. Like they always make it seem like you're not supposed to be in this match. This is just me and Bianca, Rhea Ripley and Bianca. So I kind of feel like when this match do come up, this is just I don't know. Just gonna say I think that they both gonna lose and basically be overlooked and be like, hey, Io's here the whole time. So I don't know, but this opening segment for Raw was kind of fun. I liked it. It didn't go too long and then quick, straight to the point. I'm digging this. I'm digging this. Whew. So after all that, we go to the first match of the night. We have Laura Vicaria versus Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This was actually a good match. Awesome match. Only thing I have a problem with Laura is, don't get me wrong, she's a good wrestler, but it's just that she wrestles so slow. Or is it just me? I don't know. It's just that she wrestles so freaking slow in a way. But this was a good back and forth match between Laura and Bayley. I really was going with like knowing. So going on this road to WrestleMania in a way, you notice how titles is not safe. Titles could change hands. You just never know. And on this road to WrestleMania, a few titles did change hands. I was definitely thinking that Bayley was probably going to win this match. Didn't happen. Laura Vicaria beat Bayley. And the thing that caught my eye at the end was when Laura, when she went for the Rose, was it Rose Plant? She went for the Rose Plant, but Laura Vicaria ended up basically rolling up and pinning her. And when Laura Vicaria beat Bayley with the pin, with the roll-up pin, she went to Laura Vicaria went to go extend her hand, but Bayley ended up slapping it and was about to walk, but then she was like, no, she went back and hugged her, put her hand up in the air, raised her hand up, and then also while she was doing that, she was just staring at the title. My thing with Bayley is that this babyface Bayley is trash. I'm not a fan of babyface Bayley. Is straight buns. She's better as a heel, and I think she's going to end up turning heel and end up taking the title, the Women's Intercontinental Championship, off for Laura Vicaria. And I think that, to be honest with you, this is just my opinion, I think Bayley would be a better fit for holding and putting more prestige on the Intercontinental Championship. That's just my opinion. That's just how I feel. But overall, this was a good back and forth match. It was a good back and forth match. Like I said, nothing really stood out in this match. Even though I kind of felt like Bayley could have probably turned heel, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if she did turn heel. I think that would be a good spot, especially going into WrestleMania and stuff. But what do I know, right? Right. So after that, we go into the second match of the night. We have the Creed brothers and El Grande Americano versus El Rio, Dragon Lee, Joaquin Wilder, and Cruz del Toro. This was a good high-flying match. It was a good high-flying match. I always say Raw needs better tag matches, that better tag division. SmackDown just smoking them when it comes to the tag division. But this was a good back and forth match. I do think like LWO do need more exposure, especially with the tag being like a tag team. I guess because you do have Ray Phoenix and Dragon Lee, and you have Wilder and Cruz. Like you have a whole bunch of tag teams. I don't understand why you can't utilize them more in Raw, but I don't know. But this was a good back and forth. Like I said, for me, really big fans of the Creed brothers. El Grande Americano is very growing on me. He's a very good superstar. Kind of wish I could have seen Chad Gable tonight, but it's kind of cool seeing Americano in there. That was fun. So even though this match was going back and forth, very high fly, especially from Wilder, where he ran and basically was springboard into a springboard flip over the ropes into the Creed brothers. That was a good spot. Also, Cruz running up to the turnbuckle doing a freaking 360 spin dive. That was a good spot. But Americano ended up winning by cheating because Ivy now gave a metal piece to Americano. He put it in his mask and he basically Rey Mysterio tried to basically like distract him, getting off the ropes, but Americano ended up headbutting Rey Mysterio, knocking him out. And then Americano did his finisher, it was a flying headbutt with the metal piece in his mask onto Dragon Lee and got the 1, 2, 3. That was really fun. Like I said, this was a really good match. Very high flying match. But then we found out after the match going backstage, Rey Mysterio went to Adam Pearce and said that he wants to fight. He wants to fight Americano, and he wants to pick the place and pick the time. And he told Adam Pearce he wants to fight him at WrestleMania. So now we have a new WrestleMania match. Rey Mysterio versus Americano at WrestleMania. Wow. So, yep, that was a new match added to the thing. Also, another match had been added, but he did it on Instagram. It's going to be a fatal four-way for the men's Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. So that was another new match that they added to WrestleMania. So after that match, we go back into the ring and we have Gunther making his way down to the entrance. Gunther made his way to the ring in full suit. Jay showed up through the crowd in black gear, not celebrating with the fans. Jay said that he talked to his mom about getting Jimmy to the hospital and how he didn't protect him. He said that Gunther has him and still close to him. Gunther had him and still chose to make this about his family. Jay said that he never felt so hopeless and disrespected when he was at his lowest moment. He realized that he didn't fear Gunther anymore. Jay warned Gunther to hug and kiss his family and said that he would pray for the Lord to forgive him for what he would do. He said that at Mania, he will beat Gunther for Jimmy and his family. Now, this was a great promo. Great passionate promo from last week from the beatdown what Gunther did to Jimmy in front of Jey Uso. Very good promo, very passionate. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Still didn't do nothing for the match. I'm sorry. I'm still not hyped for this match. I can care less about this match. We all know Jay's finally going to beat Gunther. It's probably going to be one of those fairy tale moments and stuff like that. But I don't really care for it. I don't really care for it at this point. Like, it's kind of feel like they beating a dead horse at this moment because it's like I don't care for it. Like, I don't know. But anyway, going on to the third match of the night, we have the War Raiders versus the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus Eric and Ivar. The War Raiders. This was a good match for the World Tag Team Championships. Very, very good match between them. Like I said, it's the New Day. It's the War Raiders. Very good back and forward match. But, of course, this match didn't end clean. It ended in a DQ. Ivar crushed Kofi with a seated senton, reaching Eric for a hot tag. Eric dropped Kofi with an exploder and hit Woods with a tilt-a-whirl gutbuster. Eric cracked Woods with the knee strike and floored Kofi with a the War Raiders flattened Woods with a tag team pop-up powerbomb floored by the War Raiders. Woods broke the pinfall and introduced a chair, but Ivar stopped him and hit him with it. After the match, Kofi Kingston clobbered Ivar with a chair shot to the neck. The New Day smashed Eric head into a chair in the corner and tossed Ivar over the barricade. They put a chair on Eric's neck and tried to crush it, but security guards showed up to separate them. Basically, I can definitely see this. I can definitely see this. I could definitely see this as maybe a go home show match for the tag titles, because I do believe they're going to have the women's tag team championships at WrestleMania. They can probably do another male's tag team championship at WrestleMania. It could either be SmackDown or Raw, but I could probably see this could be a potential match at WrestleMania, or it could be, or they could do it both. Raw have they go home SmackDown title. I mean, Raw would have the go home tag team championship match, and SmackDown could have they go home SmackDown tag team match, both main eventing. I was gonna see them both being on the WrestleMania, even though you could do one on night one on night two, but I could definitely see them running this back again for the tag championships. Then we go right after that. We go into the fourth match of the night. We have Penta versus Dominic Mysterio with Carlito in his corner. This was a good match. While me watching this match, I don't know if, well, a lot of people know, Penta did wrestle Rey Mysterio years ago at Lucha Underground, so it's kind of cool to see that Penta is actually fighting the son of Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, in the ring, so that's kind of cool to see. That's watching. Dominic was holding his own. He was kind of almost like dominating the match in a sort of way. I know a lot of people are probably not going to like the WWE version of Penta, where he's not really taking over the match. You don't see him doing a lot of explosive moves, like high flying stuff, like explosive like moves that he used to do in AEW and stuff like that. This one is more of a ground wrestling type Penta, and kind of like slower in a way. I don't know, or you could say watered down in a sort of way, I guess. But it was a good back and forward match. Dominic caught Penta with a kick to the abdomen, followed by three amigos. Dominic tripped Penta into the ropes, only for Penta to blast him with a thrust kick. Penta swept Dominic off his feet, setting him up for an elevated drop kick in the corner. Dominic shocked Penta with the destroyer, only for Penta to block a frog splash with his knee. Penta smashed Dominic's arm into the mat and snapped his arm with a sacrifice. Penta immediately dropped Dominic with the Penta driver for the win. After the match, after Penta beat Dominic, Carlito came and attacked Penta from behind. Dominic actually got up to his feet, and basically they jumped Penta. Dominic and Carlito jumped Penta until Braun Breaker music came out. He came at the entrance, like basically like stalking, and Carlito saw him. Carlito came out the ring. Braun Breaker ran towards Carlito and basically speared the crap out of him. He went in the ring. And he basically spared Dominic, and then he spared Penta, and then he basically was celebrating until Finn Balor came from out of nowhere, gave him reverse DDT, and then Braun Breaker tried to Basically, he tried to get Finn Balor back, but Finn Balor dodged it and ran out the ring. So, like I said, we are getting a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Penta versus Braun Breaker. All right, going into the last segment of the night, Paul Heyman came out and introduced the crowd. My name is Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman stood in the middle of the ring to claim that he will always be loyal to his tribal chief and his best friend CM Punk. Heyman tried to get a point across, but Seth Rollins interrupted. Rollins said that tonight wasn't about him, but about Heyman. Instead, Rollins asked Heyman whose side was he whose side wasn't on. He said that Heyman wasn't on anyone's side and told him that Roman Reigns was the only using him and didn't respect him. Rollins remind Heyman that after last year's WrestleMania, Roman left him behind to deal with Solo Sikoa and the rest of the bloodline. Rollins said that neither Roman nor Punk were there to rescue him when the bloodline took him out. Rollins remind Heyman that Punk wasn't even the first choice to the team with Roman at War Games. He said that Punk was the last choice and only accepted to get a favor out of Heyman. Rollins said that he was very sorry for Heyman, who was in a very difficult position. Rollins said that the best thing for him is to stay away and leave them to solve this on their own. He said that Heyman wouldn't betray Punk or Roman, so he would take it as a privilege to remove him from the situation right now. Rollins asked Heyman how much he's worth and started basically taking cheap, weak slaps at him. Heyman yelled at Rollins to stop putting his hands on him, only for Rollins to corner him. Punk ran down to the ring to save him and brawl with Rollins. Punk sent Rollins over the announce table and drove him into a steel steps. Rollins caught Punk off guard with a curb stomp and nearly hit Heyman with one, telling Heyman that he owes him a favor. This was a cool segment, and I liked this segment. Roman was right that every time Heyman comes out, he comes out by himself, where Roman always disappears into the night, and we basically don't see him until whenever Roman wants to come and stuff like that. So he did have kind of points where Paul Heyman did get attacked by the bloodline. Roman wasn't there. Punk wasn't there. I did like when he was basically saying he was stalking him, basically saying that only way he can solve his problem by eliminating him from the situation, basically taking him out the situation between Roman and Punk, so it could just be Seth, Roman, and Punk, so they can do what they have to do, and you don't have to be involved. So only way you can be involved is if I just take you out myself, because Roman's not here, and Punk said he doesn't have friends. He doesn't make friends. He's not here to make friends. He's here to make money. So he wants to know, how much are you worth? So he basically slapped him in the stomach. Are you worth that much? He shoved him again. Are you worth that much? And every time he kept saying, are you worth that much? He kept looking at the entrance, knowing that Punk is there, but he wants to know how far it will go for him to actually come out. And so when he slapped him, Paul Heyman was like, don't put your damn hands on me again. And then Seth dropped the mic, forced him into the corner of the ring. And then that's when CM Punk came out. And then you can see Rollins basically Rollins set that whole thing up just for Punk to come out. And then took down Punk with a curb stomp, almost curb stomp Heyman. Heyman moved out the way. He said, basically, now you owe me a favor. What is with these favors that Paul Heyman can do? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. But this was a good ending segment of Raw. Like I said, Raw was okay. First of all, we're gonna roll to WrestleMania. We have 2 weeks to go to WrestleMania. these Raws and SmackDowns supposed to be like the best shows going in, like from week to week to week, leaving you at the edge of your seat. Like, I can't wait for next week, and I don't feel none of that. All I feel when I watch these shows is, it's all right. It's okay. We see what happens next week. Well, we still on the road to WrestleMania and see what happens. Like I said, it's been a lackluster build up to WrestleMania. It feels like the matches, they just putting a lot of people on the show just to put them on the show, I guess. Don't get me wrong. Is the match is going to be good? Of course it is. But it just feels, it's missing that oomph, that spark, you know? I don't know. But I'll leave it here. Thank you for watching the Wayne Saint Wrestling Conference. Please hit that notification bell, let you know when a new the Wayne Saint Wrestling Conference drop. Give me a thumbs up. Helps out the video. Give me a like. That also helps too. Comment below. I do engage in the comments. I do answer. I'm there. Thank you for watching, and I'll definitely see you on the next video.